Today on the Diz List, we count down the top 5 shows at Walt Disney World. Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Rob, and normally Nick says that line, but Nick is currently in Walt Disney World right now. So I am lucky enough to have a co-host and friend of the show, who is Craig from Ear Scouts. Welcome, Craig.
Hi, guys. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're back. You've been on the show once or twice.
I've been on once. We talked about DVC with Nick.
And I think we did like an interview or a countdown, and then we did a separate Q&A. So I think we can count this. We'll count this as the third time you've been on the show. So welcome back.
Yeah.
But what I would like to do at the start, normally we go in and we do news and everything here, which, I mean, I'll give some little stories in a second, but anybody who is unfamiliar with your podcast that you're co-host for, that is called Ear Scouts, I would like you to just kind of talk about what your podcast is and just give our listeners a little bit about it. And I know there's a lot of crossover, but I just want to be clear for everybody, and we love your podcast, so we love having you on. Could you just kind of talk about what your show is all about for us, Greg?
Okay, sure. Well, first, explain what Ear Scouts is. Ear Scouts started as a YouTube channel with Rob and Eric, who live in Orlando, and they're all about planning. They're great with explaining how to get the most out of your lightning lane budget, how to schedule things, when to arrive, just general trip planning. So, and now they evolved into a podcast. I was lucky enough to be asked to be part of it. So me and a lovely woman named Jessica from Connecticut, and the four of us talk about what's going on in Disney. We give some of our opinions. We give a lot of tips, and that's basically what we're focused on, is helping you get your trip planned and without too much stress. I think that's one thing I always stress is don't stress it. It's just not worth it.
Another fun thing about your podcast that I really like is I'm a patron, and what you'll actually do the show live. So you can, people will put comments and you can answer questions live. A lot of times I'll put a joke in there, stir the pot, and drive everybody crazy just to have a little bit of fun, which I really enjoy. But if you decide to be a patron, that's a nice little perk that you do on your show. Now the question I was gonna ask how you got hooked up, but you sort of answered that. You were originally part of their forums, and you were also known as Quizmaster Craig. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What's the origin of QM Craig?
Sure. Well, basically, I just started watching Rob and Eric's videos, and even though they weren't telling me things that I didn't already know, because that's kind of my nerd thing, I keep up on all that stuff. But the way they presented it just was far and above the best I had seen of any of the YouTubers out there.
Agree.
So I, started commenting, and then I remember one of the first comments I made was, "Do you have a Patreon?" And the answer was, "We are working on it." And sure enough, a few months later, I was able to join their Patreon. And in their chats, they were, they had people asking questions. They had a live forum that people are asking questions, and I just started chiming in. And they appreciated that. As it turned out, I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble for answering all their questions. But so they made me a moderator along with Jessica, the other co-host, because she was answering just as much as I was. And so then what we do on Patreon at our Ear Scouts level is we have these monthly jamborees, which are just Zoom calls. So anyone that's in that Patreon group can join us, and we pick a topic. We used to be a question and answer thing, but I think all the questions had been answered. So we just started doing a more informal thing. And part of that, Rob asked me to come up with little quizzes, because I've been going to Disney World so long that I'm just a wealth of knowledge that means absolutely nothing. So, and I love being educational like that. So I put together these little quizzes, and people get prizes, and it's just a lot of fun. It's really a great community, and same with you guys. The Disney's Patreon community, in which I'm a member of, are just as wonderful. There's a lot of crossover, but yeah, very, very fortunate to be part of this.
Well, I appreciate the comment too. I think I did the Jamboree one time, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go back, because I joined once and I won, and so far I have a perfect record. I don't know if I want to tarnish my perfect record of playing the quiz, and I won a prize, you guys, and I got a pin in the mail, which was pretty cool. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. So let's switch gears a little bit. Today's show is going to focus on shows in the parks, and I want to talk a little bit about kind of what you and I decided was going to be sort of our theme for shows in the parks. We are not counting things like Country Bears, things like Tiki. We are counting things that are actual human performers. Okay, is that a good way to put it?
That at least include something that takes more than just the push of a button.
Yes,
to make the show happen.
And part of that is we're going to be just giving credit where credit is due, is these incredible performers that Disney hires, which I think sometimes is overlooked by the great attractions and rides that are there, but they have amazing performers. And I don't think I can even mention one time where I've walked out of one of these shows and said that person wasn't great. It's always a nice different flavor. But that leads me to my point here, is that I remember at one time, and I can't remember where, but the conversation went to the fact that you have some musical theater experience, and specifically doing Disney shows. I guess, can you talk about that a little bit with your acting experience? And then are there any, I know of at least one Disney show that you were part of. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, actually I've gotten to play a few really wonderful Disney characters. I started doing theater. I went to college for theater, kind of took a long break. And then when I moved back to Indiana, I started up again. And so I think the first show I did back, it was like after a 24-year hiatus, was Mary Poppins. And I played Mr. Banks,
Great.
who's just, it was kind of fun just to play a total jerk like that, who finally gets redemption at the end. I think when you're my age, that's generally a lot of roles in musical theater are written like that. The curmudgeon who actually has a little heart of gold and he just has to let it go, and be happy at the end. So I did that. I did King Triton in Little Mermaid. That was a lot of fun. Did not look anything like the shirtless man you see in the cartoons. So we went a totally different direction. But
that's very hard to pull off for anyone.
Right. But yeah, it definitely felt, it was one of those, it's good to be king, especially when you're a good king too, and have all your subjects adore you. And I got to play Claude Frollo in Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, cool.
That was a tough one, mentally, but also really fulfilling, because any character you play, no matter how vile and disgusting they are, you have to find some way to connect with that. And I have to say, I just think it was, his upbringing, they really go into that depth as well. And losing his brother at an early age just turned him into something where he just went over the edge and could not come back from, and just kind of lost his grip with humanity. But it was an emotionally draining but wonderful experience as well.
Are they still looking to do a remake or a live action Hunchback? Or is that on the back burner?
Heard. I think it's on the back burner as far as I know. I mean, it's one of those things that keeps popping up. And it still's never made it to Broadway, even though the script that's out there is quite good.
I remember the songs being good too. I feel like that was sort of the end in the 90s where that one didn't do quite as well. I don't remember if it was before or after Tarzan, but a few of those movies, I think it was Pocahontas and Tarzan and Hunchback started, but they weren't quite as popular as the first ones. I mean, when you have four immense hits like that, it's hard to follow those up. Any others? You mentioned Hunchback, Mr. Banks, King Triton. Those are the three Disney ones that you've done?
No, I know there's another one. I just lost it. I know I should have written these down.
Well, I'll let you think about it for a second. I have a surprise that if the listeners won't really be able to see this, but I'm going to share my screen here and show you a photo that my mother found. Can you? So do you see a photo of me dressed up on the screen right now?
Is that you?
Yeah. So when I was in 7th grade, I was in the production of Alice in Wonderland, and I was cast as the caterpillar.
How fun.
So that's really my only experience doing any Disney theater, and I took my role very seriously, and I went home and learned the caterpillar's voice. So I had to do the AEIOU song, and I would try to do it in the caterpillar's voice, and I would say, "Who are you?" And as a 7th grader, I'm on cloud 9 getting to play this Disney character. So I don't have quite the experience you do, but I figured it might be fun to show a little bit of an embarrassing photo.
Oh, that is so awesome. Actually, I have done Alice in Wonderland, but not the Disney version. And I played the White Rabbit that was in your picture.
Great.
And this last week after I left Disney, we went to North Carolina and visited some old friends, one of which was the man who played the caterpillar in that production back in 85, I think it was.
Yeah, 91 is when I did it. Yeah.
Funny.
Anyway, so that was a little surprise. I figured I'd show you. I have one little funny story here before we go to halftime and start our list. So this is a story about Nick here. So Nick has been in Disney for the last couple days, and it was his first day there. And he had been texting with me a little bit saying they're going to have lunch at the Polynesian at the new restaurant. What's the name of it? Wailulu. He loved it. Was sending me a message about that, and he said we're going to head over to Magic Kingdom. My phone rings, and it's Nick. I went, oh, cool. I wonder, did he find a cool haunted mansion thing that he wanted to tell me about? So I pick up the phone. I say, surprised to hear from you. And I hear, and I'm like, are you there? And then I'm like, oh, okay, I guess not. So I hang up. Then all of a sudden I get a text message from him. And the text message is, cm.c06985ct.f, and then wrote me and a frowny face NB. And I went, I think that's an accident. So then later on, I get a text from him saying, what the heck? He goes, my phone was in my pocket. And I said, oh, that'll be a great story for the show. And Nick replies back with, want the story to get a little bit better? He goes, it was a ghost. I was on the Haunted Mansion. So when all that happened, that was, yeah. So Nick is blaming that on a ghost. So I hope he's having fun there in Disney. So in a second here, we're going to head off to the halftime. When we return, we are going to be doing our top 5 shows, but we will see you right after the break.
All right, before we jump into today's list, we've got to talk about how you can actually do all this stuff we keep ranking.
Yeah, because dreaming about deluxe resorts is fun, but paying for them is slightly less fun.
That's where our friends over at DVC Rental Store come in.
If you ever wanted to stay at places like Polynesian, Boardwalk, Animal Kingdom Lodge, this is the move.
You can rent DVC points and stay in these deluxe villas for way less than booking direct through Disney.
We're talking bigger rooms, better locations, and yeah, some serious saving money.
So if you've ever said, we'll stay deluxe someday, that someday should probably be your next trip.
I feel like I say that every time. And once you've gotten that dream resort locked in, you might want to figure out, what are we actually doing all week?
Enter Be Our Guest Vacations.
So these are real Disney experts. Well, so are we, but they are too. But they'll plan your trip for you. Dining, lightning lane strategies, park plans, all of it. Listen to our show, but these guys know what they're doing too.
Best part, it doesn't cost you anything extra to use them.
Which means less stress, fewer mistakes, and more time arguing about ride rankings like we do.
And finally, let's talk tickets.
Because Disney and Universal tickets are not getting cheaper anytime soon.
That's why we recommend and use Unlock Magic.
They offer discounted tickets to both Disney and Universal parks, so you can save money before you even walk in the gates.
Which means more budget, for snacks.
Well, or lightning lanes, or
just, like another trip.
So if you're planning a vacation, check out DVC Rental Store, Be Our Guest Vacations, and Unlock Magic.
We've got links in the description. Go support the sponsors that help support the show.
And now back to the list. And welcome back. Okay, so we're going to do our top 5 shows. Normally, the way we do it on the show is I go first and then Nick goes second. So I'm going to have you play the role. Since you're an actor, you can. Craig is going to play the role of Nick, which means you can go second in our list here. And I have a feeling my number 5 is going to be one that may not be on your list, and it's one that we really like in our family. And I want to say something before I begin my list. I have not seen Fantasmic almost every time there's an issue because of weather. One time I was there during the hurricane. Another time we went to the parks with Rob and it was a horrible thunderstorm. It just has never worked out for me to get. It's one of the few things that I have not been able to do at Walt Disney World. So if it is not on my list, folks, it's only because I haven't been in there to see it yet. So I wanted to say that before I begin here. So my number 5 is one that I'm not sure is on your list, but I guess we will see. My number 5 is one that is really only around during a certain time of day, and that is Feathered Friends in Flight. And I have been seeing this one for many, many years, and the show has kind of evolved a little bit, and I always enjoy seeing those bird performers. I actually don't mind that they sort of branded it a little bit towards up. It kind of makes sense because in the movie they have Kevin, and Kevin is walking around. Kevin isn't really part of the show, but I just like the idea of bringing in IP into that show, because I really feel like younger kids, you're just kind of calling it the bird show. But if you know that you can go in and you get to see Doug and Russell, it just makes it a whole lot more exciting and more inviting for the younger kids to come in and see the birds do tricks. And it's really, really fascinating. So my number 5 is Feathered Friends in Flight. And I don't know if this is going to show up on your list or not. You have a poker face right now, so I'm not sure if this is going to show up or if you don't like it.
No, I do like it. In fact, it wasn't part of my top 5, but it was up there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the new version, like since they themed it to Up. I understand it hasn't changed a whole lot, but yeah, I mean,
No.
And again, that's the kind of show you're not going to see anywhere else.
Nope.
And that's a big part of my criteria as well, as far as, if I'm going to go see a show, am I going to be able to see this anywhere else at home? But no, it's a great one.
So that was my number 5, Feathered Friends in Flight. Craig, what do you have for your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular.
Excellent.
Which is also a day one attraction from the old Disney MGM studio days, 1989. It's been recently edited. It's a lot shorter, a lot tighter right now, which I think is generally a trend in theater shows because people just don't have the attention span they used to. But as far as stagecraft and the stunts and just the stage itself is quite a wonder.
Yep.
You expect one thing and things just keep evolving, and all of a sudden you feel like you're in a totally different theater. And the performers are great. A friend of mine has done that show. I think a couple of them have, and have nothing but fond memories of being in it. Not as Indy, but yeah, it's. I can tell it's a great cast. They're very well-oiled machine, and they really enjoy doing it, and that's why it's on my list.
Now, if listeners are not aware, recently there was an accident where they have the boulder. If you're familiar from Raiders of the Lost Ark, they have the boulder that rolls down Indiana Jones, and they do that stunt. Although that the boulder is much, much lighter than it really is. I want to say, I can't even remember. I don't even want to guess how heavy it is because I'll be wrong. But do you know, have you been there since? Do you know if they sort of edited that part out of it because of the boulder going towards the crowd?
Yeah, I didn't get to see it this last time I was there, and I haven't really heard what the current situation is.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I think it's back. I mean, that was a while ago. I would hope it's back up and running by now.
Yeah. Or they put some additional safeguards in place, or
right. Because as many times as that boulder has rolled down over how many years.
I mean, if you take that,
like that, yeah,
the percentage, the success rate, or even the failure rate is absolutely minuscule. It's just too bad that something like this is going to cause people to be nervous And, I'm not saying they shouldn't be nervous. Something like that could happen at any of these attractions at any time. And Disney does the absolute best to make sure that everyone is safe at these different attractions. So
Absolutely.
this was on my honorable mention. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan. I always liked that show. I probably haven't seen it in about 8 or 9 years, but next time we go down, I'm definitely going to make an effort to try to check things like this show off my list that I haven't seen in a while. Another one that maybe I'll talk about, maybe I won't, is the Beauty and the Beast show. I haven't seen in a long time either. But I don't want to give anything away as far as that one is concerned. But I think that's a great choice. I think it's one that often gets overlooked, but I think the popularity is going to increase a little bit more on that show once they open the Indiana Jones ride over in Animal Kingdom, because I think it'll that sort of renewed excitement for that franchise and younger audiences. Because, they had a movie recently, but I don't know if that movie is necessarily going to appeal to the younger audiences. It's people in our age group that are going out for that nostalgia to see Harrison Ford, and hopefully they can bring some younger kids into that franchise, because most of those movies are really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, just the originals are just such classics.
They're amazing. Yeah, I mean, part 2 I think gets overlooked, and I think even Temple of Doom is a really great movie too. And I think they based a lot of the Disneyland ride off of Temple of Doom, especially like the skull face in the center. So I'll move on to my number 4. My number 4 is brand new, and I'm curious what the future of this attraction is going to be. My number 4 is Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After. And I'm curious if this has a permanent home at Hollywood Studios, or if this is maybe one of those things where the actual show could be moved. Now, it's very elaborate, the set on the inside. If you haven't seen this, it's a very, very impressive set. Craig, you've seen this, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the set is very impressive on the inside, and the ending of the show can change. And I don't want to give away too much for people that might want to experience it for themselves. But in case you aren't aware, they're going to be opening Villains Land over in Magic Kingdom. And this is a villain show. So I'm wondering if this is something that may move from one park to the other, but not necessarily, because a couple minutes ago, I just made the comment that they're going to be having Indiana Jones in one park, and they will also have Indiana Jones in a different park. You have Toy Story in 2 different parks. So maybe this is something that could sort of jump and exist within multiple parks, which happens more often than we really think about. But the show, I was very impressed. It was fun. That it's nice to get to go in, a little bit of air conditioning inside. The performers were spectacular. The effects were spectacular. So I'm hoping that if they do move it, or if it does close, that it'll move to the other park. So I'm very impressed by the show, and I give number 4 to the Disney Villain Show. Craig, any comments on this?
Yeah,
do you want to,
like when you talk about moving and the set itself, yeah, it is very elaborate and it's big, but I think it was actually built for that reason. It's basically screen based. I think if you turned off all the screens, this is it. It's just a few walls,
right,
and a proscenium. So, yeah, I think it would actually be fairly easy to move that stuff out. But yeah, that's Villains is definitely one of my tops.
Yeah, that's a great one. So my number 4 is Disney Villains. And what did you have for your number 4, Craig?
Number 4 is going to be Fantasmic.
Oh, great.
At Hollywood Studios. And unfortunately, I have kind of the same story you do, even though I have seen it several times. It's been forever since I've seen it. And it just seems like every time, usually I'm too tired or something, like the day has just gone on too long. Or it's like,
I don't blame you. And the other thing about that park is it gets really, really hot. It's a lot of pavement. And another weird thing about Hollywood Studios, listeners, I'm sure you'll agree, is it's a lot of dead ends. It really wasn't built to be fluid. I mean, it's essentially built to be in, a movie studio, literally, which I think they did animated, but the only actual movie they filmed there, I think, was Ernest Saves Christmas, was filmed actually on location there. But you'll walk all the way down to where Rock and Roller Coaster and Disney Villains is, and then there's no loop around to get to Toy Story Land. You just have to walk all the way back again. So Anyway, sorry to jump in there. Let's get back to Fantasmic.
Oh, but and if, yeah. And if we weren't getting together in October, a group of us Ear Scouts people, and that's going to be part of it, we missed it this last time too. It's like, okay, well, at least we'll see it in October. And I hope that works. I hope it happens because it's getting ridiculous, but because it's such a great show.
Yeah.
But when you think of nighttime spectaculars, like when I think of fireworks, it's like pretty easy. You don't have to jockey for a seat or wait in line. So I think that's the downside of it, but it's still worth it. If you've never seen it, you have to experience it. Just all the multimedia things they use, the live actors and the music, the pyrotechnics. It's really a fantastic show.
So your number 4 is Fantasmic. I wish I could put it on my list, and still on my list of things that I have to do. That there's a short list of things that I've never done, and that is on it. Number 3 is I'll kind of chat about something that you mentioned a minute ago before I say what my number 3 is that one thing you mentioned is that they're abbreviating a lot of these shows. And I think that's generally for attention spans, but I think part of it too is to just give you more time in the parks to get food, ride attractions, spend your money, if we're being totally honest. And this one is the reopening of the Finding Nemo show, Big Blue and Beyond. And there's things that I really miss that were part of the original show that are not in this new show, but these performers are spectacular. And the closest thing I can compare it to is Lion King on Broadway, where they have the big puppets everywhere. And it's just really, really incredible. The performers are great. The music is excellent. The effects are excellent. And it's just a really nice thing to look forward to in my day, is to sit in that big, beautiful, clean theater, sit in some air conditioning and enjoy just an expert performance for the Finding Nemo show. And speaking of which, that's another place where the Nemo is also in 2 different parks. So my number 3 is Finding Nemo. Not sure if it's on your list or not, but
yeah, that's when I have not seen the new version of it yet. I had seen the original, and it's honestly, it's not one of my favorite Disney franchises, so I haven't seen it a lot, but I remember, it was very well done. And it is on my list. It was another one that we were going to do this trip, and it didn't happen. So
not for lack of trying, I bet.
That's okay. We will make it.
That'll be on your list for your October trip.
Yep, that's another one.
Great. So what did you have then for your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3 is, I want to make sure I get this right.
Oh my gosh, Craig, look who it is.
Here.
Did you guys know that dinosaurs closed?
Dinosaurs closed, guys. Nick just joined the show.
Did they see you coming and close it?
Yes. Yeah. So Craig, you don't know my wife, but Rob, you know my wife. We just finished we just finished at Nomad, and you know that she does not typically enjoy her libations, right? She doesn't typically drink. So she decided that it would be a good idea to have one today. Yeah, and she picked the one with 151 in it. So it's gonna be a fun rest of the day.
Oh, there she is. Wow. I think that might be, if you're watching on video, that might be the first appearance ever by your wife, Julie.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. I just wanted to stop in and thank Craig for making an appearance, and also to let you know that dinosaurs closed. I tried to get on it. Yeah. They said no dice, no dinosaur. That's okay. I'm gonna head out. I just wanted to say hi, and we'll see you guys when I get back.
What a great surprise, though, that Nick jumps in and hijacks the show. Nick is at Animal Kingdom today, so I thought maybe he was going to jump in and give his number 3 for shows. Love that happened. Your number 3, mine was Finding Nemo. What did you have for yours?
Yes, before Nick came on, I was going to say my number 3 pick is, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration.
Love it.
Which is the longest title of any of these. So, but yeah, it's a great show. Even if you're not a big fan of Frozen and you don't like to sing, you don't really have to participate in that. But basically, they have two actors, male and female, and they're basically improv comedians, and they go by a script, but they're also playing off the cuff. And even if they make, here it is, the true talent of these kinds of performers are the ones that can make it look like they're cracking up with you, like they'd never heard this joke before, even though they've heard it 160 times.
Yes.
And that's what these people do. So yeah, it's funny. It's cute. It's got snow. It's in the air conditioning. It's a nice big theater. If you want to sing, go right ahead. A lot of people don't. Never stopped me. But yeah, it took me a long time to go see it, but I'm like, why have I been missing this? Because it's a lot of fun.
Now, I will jump in because that is actually my number 2. So we can kind of tag team this one because it lines up nicely too. So this show, I actually love this show too. And I love it for a couple of reasons. One is it's that perfect marriage between a comedy show and a musical at the same time. You get those songs that everyone knows, the kids, the adults, everyone, some of the best songs ever written for a Disney film. So memorable, so catchy. You have Elsa that comes out, and that part is absolutely spectacular. And I just think in general, it's such the perfect franchise for everyone, for young kids, for adults. That, like you mentioned, the snow coming down, it makes people tear up when they hear that song. The air conditioning, and again, it's the perfect amount of time. They sing the right amount of songs, and it's very, very engaging. Those narrators, they bring in the 2 people to do it. That's another one where I have never seen somebody do a bad job, and there's always different personalities. You notice that too, Craig?
Oh yeah.
Like, whoever the person is, they kind of take their own personality and they turn that into the narrator character. And I think the jokes will change from depending on who the narrators are slightly, but every single time it's just a home run. I've never seen it be a terrible show. I absolutely love it. If you have not seen the show, I think even if you're not a fan of the franchise, I think you would enjoy just the comedic performance of the actors and actresses in the show. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, it's not just a retelling of the Frozen story. And that's what I think the true appeal is, like so many of the other ones that we have talked about and probably will continue to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, my I kind of jumped in on yours, but my number 2 is also the Frozen for the First Time in Forever. That's the full title of it. Yeah,
because the other one in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration.
Oh my gosh, that is a long one.
That's a lot of words.
What did you have for your number 2, Craig?
So, well, my number 2, I believe that was your number 4, and that's Disney Villains, Unfairly Ever After.
Oh, good. You put this high up. I'm very impressed.
Oh yeah.
You love it. It's great.
It's a fantastic show. Great script, great stagecraft, fun, great music, all new songs, costumes. Okay, I will talk about the costumes real quick though.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah, so there are 3 human actors in this show, and they play Maleficent, Captain Hook, and Cruella de Vil.
Yep.
So, they each have their own big number, and Cruella's is all about fashion. So she actually has these quick changes. She has like maybe 4 or 5 different like elaborate gowns that she wears. However, in my opinion, they all look like they came from Party City. They are well designed, they're well constructed, but like you can tell the fabrics are cheap. It's as if they gave the costume designer the exact same. I'm sorry, I've got a cat coming to say hi.
That's okay. The cat can say hello.
Here's Pepper. Come on, Pepper. Want to say hi? No. Oh, there she is, sweet kitty.
Anyway, pets help with ratings. We had good feedback about having the puppy on recently.
They're going to be rewinding to watch it again. Anyway, it felt like they gave the costume designer the same budget for all 3 characters, and then they told her or him, by the way, Cruella has to have 5 or 6 costumes that they have to be able to quick change out of, but you still have the same budget because Maleficent's costume is magnificent. Hook's costume is fantastic.
Yes.
And poor Cruella, even though they're well designed, they're actually because they have sketches of these outfits that she's actually wearing, like a fashion designer had actually sketched them, and it just Yeah,
That's cool.
They just don't make it quite as much as they do. They did her dirty. But overall, again, great show.
Absolutely. I'm glad that made your list too. And I'm glad that I got to see it the last time I was there. I was so impressed.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones where occasionally I'll try to stay off of social media and not watch any of the ride throughs of things. And that was one I wanted to come in completely blind. I didn't know what villains were in the show. I feel like I knew Maleficent was part of it, but I didn't know who the other ones were going to be. I didn't really know that there was an audience participation aspect. And I said earlier, I don't want to elaborate on too much to give listeners a little bit of a surprise if you haven't seen it yet. When I talk about some of the newer things, I don't always like to, tell, because Nick always gives me a hard time, calls me the spoiler because I always like hint too much at some of this stuff. But I know there's a lot of people that like to kind of experience it for themselves. So your number 2, you had the villain show, and I think you agree with me where we hope that doesn't go away, and it can potentially coexist in 2 different parks if it stays there. Now, I just want to add in one other little thing here, because I was thinking you may bring up this show too. There have been rumors, and purely none of this has come from Disney. This is just speculation from fans, that one of the rumors was that back area where Rock and Roller Coaster is may kind of become a Muppets area. And would that building, could it house something similar to a Muppet Vision? Maybe not exactly Muppet Vision, because I think that's something they're probably going to retire. Could they make a new Muppets attraction / show that could go into that building? What is your speculation on that? Do you think it's a possibility? What percentage chance? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was one of the first things I thought of when all these things were coming down. It's like, oh, well, yeah, they'll move that to Villain's Land, and then. Yeah, at the time, I'd never really bought into them doing Muppet Vision there, though. Okay. It just doesn't, I don't know if that space lends it. I would love to see a whole new experience.
Sure. Maybe that area,
something like that.
See, that's a great point, because maybe that area becomes sort of the test kitchen, so to speak, where you saw Lightning McQueen there. And now we know that the Lightning, maybe not that specifically, but the Lightning McQueen and Cars things are now going over into Magic Kingdom. So if this show does go away, if it does, it does. It is what it is. Maybe something else comes into that spot. One more sub question that I want to throw at you too, to hear your thoughts at. I read online recently that they're working on the Glob Theater, so that area for Monstropolis. I'm curious if you also think that they may end up taking Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor and exporting that show, which I think would be a heck of a lot easier to do, because it's essentially just screens. It's and that ended up making my honorable mention. I put Monsters Inc. and Turtle Talk with Crush on my honorable mention, so I'll just kind of say them now. But I'm curious your thoughts again. Do you think Monsters Inc. will move, or do you think that's something that could also stay in Magic Kingdom because Tomorrowland needs more stuff? What do you think?
I think it makes sense to put it in Monstropolis, because it doesn't make sense in Tomorrowland.
No.
I'm just thinking about the space itself, because the Muppet Theater is so huge. I think maybe if they reduced it some.
Which they could.
Yeah.
They could. Yeah, I'm just curious if you thought they would move it. And it goes back to kind of what our theme is here is, can an attraction theme exist in more than one park? And it definitely can, and it does. So anyway. Let's see. Your number 2 was Disney Villains. We're on to number 1, and I think the chances are pretty good that we may match up on this one. And I know for a fact that if Nick was here, it would be the same as mine, and we'll see if it's the same as yours. Maybe you're going to keep a poker face when I say what it is, but I'll get right to it. My number 1, Nick may be experiencing today, because it's Festival of the Lion King is my number 1. It's my favorite show. It is my favorite songs. And I like to think about the Lion King and just the number of giant hits that came out of that movie. And Elton John, his collaboration was an absolute home run. The guy is an absolute treasure. And when I watch that show, it is like hit song after, or the movie for that matter, it is hit song after hit song after hit song. I mean, if that was an album, I mean, it would be multi-platinum. It is an album, but I
I'm pretty sure
love,
they made.
yeah, it is. But another fun thing about Festival of the Lion King is I love that they recycled. So when the animatronics come out, you have Pumbaa, and I think the elephant is on the far side, and then they have Simba
And a giraffe.
and the giraffe, and I believe those are recycled floats. And it fits perfectly. I mean, if you wouldn't have known that those were recycled floats, it seems like the show was made exactly, for those, or they were made for the show. And it just, it works so well to have the show kind of, it's like a similar, what's it called? Is it a black box theater where you sit on all four sides? Is that what it's called?
It's a theater in the round.
Theater in the round.
That's what you call that when there's seats all the way around on four sides and everything's in the middle.
Is this your number one?
It is my number one.
Okay, I'll let you jump in then for this. Do you know of, before you start, do you know of any other things in Disney World that are sort of like that, where there are bleachers and seats all the way around? Can you think of any? Maybe Tiki Room?
Yeah, Tiki Room is another example of that for sure.
Okay. I don't know if I can think of any off the top of my head. I don't think Carousel of Progress counts. No, because I mean, it's in the round, but it isn't really like a performance.
But yeah, Tiki Room is absolutely another example of that.
I'll let you talk now. Sorry.
No problem. I was going to mention those two, the recycled floats from Disneyland.
Oh, is that what they're from? I did not know that.
Yeah, no, it was a Disneyland parade that they did for the Lion King. Well, and that whole section of the park, originally it was in that Camp Minnie Mickey section.
Okay.
And it was, I think, one of those things they scrambled. I don't know if it was in the original plans or not, but something they put together. But gosh, they hit it out of the park with that. The script, the cast, some of the most talented performers, I think, on the property.
Yeah.
The singers are
multiple
phenomenal.
levels. The acracrobats are incredible.
Yes.
The physicality for the monkeys. Oh my gosh.
Aerial artists. They do the silks, the flying. And a lot of audience participation as well. Just, sing along. You're not going to have to be pulled on stage unless you want to march with a bunch of kids at the end. But it is a fantastic show, top to bottom. I'm glad it is still there. I'm glad it still has the love. I'm glad that they did a little bit of editing after the pandemic, I believe. I think that was the reason, but it's still, I didn't really notice it, to be honest. So
I think the audience participation thing is huge too. One of our patrons, a friend of the show, his name's Mikey. He was telling me a story about how his daughter got to be part of the show, and it's just this lifelong memory that she has now. And it's I know not everybody gets to be part of it, but even just having that impact of, handful of kids a day for every show that they do, those memories are just going to be core memories for the rest of their life. They're going to say when they're 40 years old, they're going to go, hey, remember the time that I was in the Lion King show? And it's going to have that much more of an impact, not only on them, but on their family as well. Cause Mikey's going to look back and he'll have such fond memories of that too. And whoever they pick, I'm always smiling and happy for the kid and for the family, because I know what a big deal that is for the kids. And almost every time, I can't even say there's a time where it hasn't gone well. Most kids will just participate and chime right in. And I think that, playing the different instruments, and I just love it. I'm so happy for the families when that happens. It's great.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I didn't have on my list is the Enchanted Tales with Belle in Magic Kingdom. It's basically just a retelling of the story, but they have the little kids come in and play all the parts while they retell the story for Belle on her birthday. And I hadn't seen it in a while. We went back and saw it, and it was just so charming. And, just watching the kids and watching the parents watch their kids. It was really sweet. Really liked it.
See, I didn't even know that existed. When my kids were younger, we would walk right by it. because it didn't even really look like it was an attraction. So listeners, I'll explain where this is if you don't know where it is. So if you know where like the Pinocchio Village house is and the Pinocchio bathrooms, to the right-hand side, there's a little path that goes back to this little cottage, but it's really easy to miss because right next to that is the entrance to the Be Our Guest restaurant. So you maybe not know that it's back there. So the first time that we did it, my kids were teenagers and they enjoyed it. They were good sports. But I think they would have enjoyed it more if I would have known about it and brought them when they were younger. So my first time seeing it was, recently, not when they were younger, but those performers do an excellent job too.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm very, very impressed by all the cast members and what a great job that they do. And I hope, and I don't know, but I'm not sure if we have any cast members that are performers that listen to this show. If they do, we have so much respect for you, and I can speak for Nick too, and I'll let Craig follow up in a second, but you cast members are absolutely spectacular. I've never seen a poor performance in anything that I have ever seen in all of my visits to Walt Disney World. Class act. So kudos to you, Craig. I'll let you do your message to any performer cast members if you like.
Oh, well, actually, I've been fortunate enough that some of my good college friends have worked for Disney and Universal. I think they're all at Universal at the moment. And unfortunately, they were there before the internet, so I had no idea when I was going there when I was younger, and they were probably there. If I'd gone to Hoop-de-Doo and Barb was in it, I wouldn't have even known it. But I did get to see her at Universal. She was the host for the Barney show for a while too. So I actually got a private audience with Barney after the show. That was really cool.
Great. I'm sure. Did you get any
And
pictures?
Actually, yeah, oh yeah. But again, that was one of the things where, I mean, I was obviously way too old to watch Barney, but I was familiar with the show. And I was like, I mean, that's so old. Like, I can't believe kids are still into it. Well, it turns out all the parents were the ones that grew up with it. They're the ones that brought their little kids to watch it. And so the parents were the ones just singing along. Like, they were into it far more than their own kids were. And it was really cute.
Well, let's do some honorable mentions here before we end the show. I'd said this earlier, and I wanted also to kind of speak on how difficult and creative that these performers are. It's the performers that do Turtle Talk and do Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Although those shows are not quite at that Broadway level, like something like Finding Nemo or Festival of the Lion King, those performers are absolutely brilliant. They're good on their feet. They are funny. It takes a certain person to be able to hear what a guest says and to really turn it into something comedic and honestly appropriate too, because so much comedy these days ends up going down a direction that is inappropriate, but making something funny and great for all audiences and all families, and just being able to think on your feet that way. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all the people that are involved in those two. And I think they could probably do more of that. I'm not sure if they're in development or looking to do anything else that's similar to Turtle Talk or Monsters Inc., but how great would that be? They could do more of that.
I mean, it's not like that's a huge overhead. My friend Jay had done both those shows and also the ones at Universal. He did the Fountain at Universal, and I think there's something at Volcano Bay very similar. But yeah, they just sit in a tiny little office with a microphone and a monitor and just talk to guests.
Wow, that's so great. I think it would be tough. My hearing is not the best from years of being in these hard rock bands. So I would have a hard time hearing the guests, but they do a fantastic job every time.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed with what a great job they do. Did you want to mention anything else for your honorable mentions before we close the show here?
Yeah, I did have a few. One was Feathered Friends in Flight. Another is the new Little Mermaid, a musical adventure show. Have you seen that one yet?
Not yet, but everything I've seen looks impressive.
Yeah, it's well done. I've seen the original as well, and it was definitely a good upgrade, and it was needed. And then another one was actually Beauty and the Beast live on stage, which I just saw this last trip for the first time in forever. Basically because the costume shows, where they just kind of come around and waddle around. It's generally not my cup of tea, but watching it again, it's like, ooh, this is
another good
really
pun
well
there.
done.
Cup of tea.
Speaking of which.
Yes.
But yeah, it was well done. I'm glad they have, and it's a big cast.
Yeah.
The singers and every character. It's not like Mrs. Potts is playing something else as well. Like every character has to have their own actor. And so the fact that that has been playing as long as it has, and I'm sure that overhead has got to be huge, having to pay all those actors. So kudos for Disney for keeping that alive.
Definitely.
I do appreciate it.
And it's another one of those shows where it's just a hit parade. I mean, it's big number after big number after big number. So it's easy to do a show like that. And that's kind of, if you really think about it, if you think of Beauty and the Beast and Lion King, there really isn't a dark ride or like a serious attraction built around them. They really are kind of existing in the park musically. And I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. Would I like more attractions for them, or a ride or a dark ride? Absolutely. But their involvement is so important because of that musical aspect. And I love that that's kind of how they exist in the parks right now. And in Magic Kingdom, there's, we talked about the other attraction with Belle in the restaurant, but I don't think you can have enough of some of these great classic movies. You could add 3 more Lion King, you could add 3 more Beauty and the Beast, more Aladdin, and no one's going to complain. They're just absolutely timeless masterpieces in my mind.
Yeah. And another one that we had not put in our list, and I had thought of when we were talking, is Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Oh yeah, which I have not seen either. No,
okay.
No.
I saw it for the first time this last trip, and it's not for me. It was enjoyable. I had fun. The food was good, but the cast was phenomenal.
I bet.
They were so good. So definitely can recommend that.
Well, shout out to them. I think the reason why we've been hesitant to go is just dietary, because we don't know how much we can eat on the menu. But again, Disney's so good with it. They bring out a chef, and because I think it's a lot of fried chicken and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do gluten-free fries, but that's not the point of the show. So I'll get off of that topic. But I keep saying let's do this before we close, but I want to make sure you get a good plug in for Ear Scouts podcast. We know that Ear Scouts, or maybe people don't know, Ear Scouts is a fantastic YouTube station where Rob and Eric walk through the parks, and they give tips on how to use Lightning Lane, and but also they do this great podcast that you're part of. So let's end with another plug for that, and then we can wrap up the show for this week.
Sure. Yeah. Join our Patreon if you've ever wanted to listen to a live podcast recording, warts and all, because we do edit our shows a lot, but we do also release, like on our Patreon, we release the full recording. So anyone who wants to hear all the mess ups, and there are plenty, believe me. And again, it's that Patreon community they really are the 5th member of the team. So
you guys do a great job incorporating Patreon. Well done.
Yeah, they're so great. They always have something fun to pop in on. So
now, as far as our closing goes, you're the guest.
I got it.
All right, go for it. You can help close us out here.
All right. Well, it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.